Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Susie and I am a blogger. I've been blogging for 7 years if you're new here, and I wanted to share today just 7 mistakes that I've made as a blogger that I wish I wouldn't have. And so I wanted to share today just those mistakes so that in hopes you don't make the same mistakes that I've made and that you can bypass those, because I feel like my blog would have been in another or just gone to a new level and been in a different place if I would have really just not made these and done the opposite. So let's dive in. Okay, also, if you guys don't know, I'm the blogger behind the blog Girl Gone Green, so you can check out my blog. I'm a 6-figure blogger and I'm super passionate about blogging because it has given me the lifestyle that I love and really craved. I have 4 kiddos. I get to spend so much time with them. I homeschool them and really just get to create the life that I dreamed about. So if you're interested in blogging and want to know more, definitely check out my blog checklist. It's where I outline just all the things you want to do to make sure that each blog post that you post is optimized, and it is in the description box, the link, so make sure and grab that. Okay, mistake number 1. I wrote these down so that way I make sure and hit all of them. But the first thing that I would say is not focusing on money-making activities. So in the beginning, I was definitely focusing on all the wrong things. I had like FOMO basically when it came to blogging. So fear of missing out on all the things. So I wanted to be on Instagram. I wanted to be on my website. I wanted to be on Pinterest, and, I wanted to podcast. I wanted to do all these things, whether it was like a freebie on how to grow your email list or a freebie on how to become better, at Instagram or Pinterest. I was just so new that I didn't know kind of what to say no to. And so I would sign up for all these things, and then it would just give me like this almost like analysis paralysis where you're like, too much then, and you don't know what to do or where to go. And so I just recommend to like really focus on like how you're going to make money, because the thing is if you don't make any money from your blog, you're not going to be very motivated to keep going. So what you want to do is really focus on those money-making activities, because the sooner you can make money, the sooner you're going to be like, I can do this. I'm making money. I'm getting rewarded for all my hard work. Another thing too with that is that I would consume instead of create. I'd be looking at other people, or I would be, browsing Instagram or browsing Pinterest, or, doing all these things. Or it was almost like I felt like I was working, but I really wasn't. Because like I said, I would download all these freebies, and in my head I was like, ooh, this is cool. I'm learning about email lists now, and I'm learning about Pinterest and how to like pin your images, which is great. But the thing was I was spreading myself too thin and like not really making any progress on what I actually needed to make progress on. So sometimes you can think you're working, but you're really not. And then the last thing with that is I was focusing on like going to these conferences and events within my niche and meeting people, which is so great. But in the long run, like that was not making me any money. In fact, I was spending money to go to these. Looking back, I don't even know what I was thinking, just because I was literally not making any money hardly from my blog. And then I was spending money to go to these things. And I think in my head, I thought, well, if people find out about me, or if they start to notice me, then maybe I'll get paid. I just had no idea. I was so new to all this. And so I would really recommend, don't do those kind of activities. They're not money-making activities. They really just appear like you're making money, but you're not. So don't be fooled by people going to all these conferences and events and you think, man, they must be making it. They're probably not. I mean, they could be, but a lot of times they're not. And so really focusing in on what those money-making activities will be are going to be so much more helpful than, getting sidetracked by all the things. Okay, number 2 is to focus on your niche or your niche, however you want to say it. So for me, where I fell short here is I would focus on so many things. I would focus on, I need to start a podcast now and have on a naturopathic doctor and have him talk about health topics that I didn't know about, which is great, but is that my niche? Are people really coming to me for in-depth topics about health? No. I blog about clean living and clean beauty. It's not super in-depth. I mean, I definitely have on experts and I make sure, I have research material backing it, but people are not coming to me for a doctor's perspective or for, like really expert advice when it comes to their health, because I'm not a doctor and I don't have any credentials behind my name like that. I'm a mom of 4 kids who's passionate about clean living, clean beauty. I'm very relatable. I've lived it myself. And so I would just get very sidetracked when it came to my niche, and I would start things that really didn't pertain. I almost think I confused people because they didn't know what to come to me for. And I think I wanted people to come to me for everything, but really that is not the name of the game when it comes to blogging. You want to niche down so much. I know people have this problem because I had it too, and I see it a lot now with people that I've helped. But they think that if they niche down too much that they won't have an audience. But actually, you're going to open yourself up so much more and be speaking directly to those people instead of, if you are just speaking to everyone, like the common phrase is, if you speak to everyone, you'll speak to no one. And I think, just like me, when I think about people that I go to for things, it's because I'm going to them because I know they're an expert in that, right? Like, for instance, I had someone ask me the other day about hormones, just a friend, and I was like, ooh, I know exactly who to send her to. It was this hormone doctor that I follow on Instagram. She specializes in women's hormones. She doesn't specialize in just general health. She specializes in women's hormones. So I knew exactly who to go to, right? Or I know there's a doctor on Instagram that I follow, and she specializes in fasting. So I don't go to her for learning about hormones. I go to her for fasting. You know what I mean? You have to really think about what your niche is and really dial that in and not try to be all things to all people. I know that within your niche, there can be areas where you could go in different directions. But I just found myself so many times looking back, I would be like, oh, I'm going to be a lifestyle blogger and do this. It's well, people really, they are coming to me for my lifestyle, but it was I was trying to be a lifestyle where I wasn't really offering information to people. And I was trying to be just the fashion bloggers or something. It's people don't really come to me for that. They come to me for what is good? What's a good water filter? What's a good clean beauty product? So really dialing it in on what your niche is going to help so much. Another thing with that I wanted to say is I would even focus on, travel tips. I remember doing this whole travel blog thing where I did it when I went to California, and it was a total flop. And because people don't come to me for that, they're not looking for travel tips really, it's just really focus in on what your niche is and run with that. And if you're a food blogger, make sure you have a niche of some kind. You can't just blog about food in general. You have to have a specific niche. Okay, are you a keto blogger, food blogger? Or are you a gluten-free? What do you specialize in? I think you have to be known for something to really stand out nowadays. Okay, number 3 is pretty obvious because I talk about it all the time, but it's not focusing on SEO. Oh, I wish I would have done this so much sooner. But the name of the game when it comes to blogging and making passive income is SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. So basically, what you want to do is every blog post that you write, you want to make sure that it is SEO optimized, meaning that what is in there is what people are searching for and it could rank in Google. So if you're just writing about whatever and you're just posting it on your blog, hoping that something sticks, you're not going to be very successful because you don't know if people are searching for it. You don't have the post optimized. You don't know what people are asking for or what questions they have. Really, when you do each blog post, you want to make sure that it is optimized. So that way, when people are searching Google, they can come upon your blog for a specific question that they have and get it answered. People are all about themselves. They want to know how can you help them. It's not about you. It's about them. So definitely make sure and do SEO for your blog if you want to be in this for the long game and you want that passive income. Nowadays, I literally have blog posts that I've written 3 years ago that are just making me money each month. I optimize them every now and then, I'll update them, but for the most part, I'm doing nothing. They're just, people are coming to me because I have made sure that my info is optimized and I'm answering their questions and I have valuable blog posts that can really offer tips, tricks, help, whatever it is I'm writing on, and people want to know that. So just really make sure that you focus on SEO. That is the number one thing I would recommend in the beginning if you want to really be a full-time serious blogger. Okay, number 4 is I wish I would have focused more on Pinterest versus Instagram. Now, both of these platforms have changed so much since I started back in 2015. It was a lot easier back in 2015 to actually get some traction on Instagram. And so it was just easier to grow in general. Although I will say, looking back, I still wish I would have focused more on Pinterest, because Pinterest actually drives people to your blog. Like, people go there to find information on things. So it's really useful for your blog because you're actually going to get more traffic to your blog, and it's free traffic. Nowadays, Pinterest has totally changed too. And I'm not saying it's as great or as easy as it used to be, but still you can get free traffic to your blog. If I would have focused on it more, I definitely would be getting so much more than I am now. But I focused on Instagram, and I did grow my Instagram for sure. And I do make money from it time to time. But Instagram is not the platform that really drives traffic to your blog. In fact, people would be shocked at how many people don't come from Instagram to my blog. It's more organic traffic, which is what you want. And so I just recommend, I know Instagram is that shiny object. Everyone wants to be on there. It looks cool if you have more followers, all of that. But really, in the end, it's not the end all be all, and you're not going to get those people from Instagram to your blog like you would if you were on Pinterest. Number 5 is I would not have focused on changing my website so much. Oh, I kick myself now, but I've changed my website 3 times in my 7 years of blogging. So I originally started with one theme, and then I updated and got a new website 3 years in, which is way too early in my opinion, unless you're just completely crushing it. And then I just updated my website 6 months ago, which totally needed to happen. And I would have vouched for this new update, but I think where I went wrong was updating it in the middle, just because websites, one, are super expensive. And honestly, it doesn't really matter about your website as far as, I know people focus so much on look and they want it to be a certain way, and I totally get that. But I think as long as your website is clean and easy to navigate, that is the main thing. People don't really care. They're not coming to my website and analyzing all the details like I am. They literally are coming because I have a blog post that they want to know more about. They're searching for themselves. Like I said before, they want to know how you can help them. And so I think a lot of times we get hung up on the details of how does our website look, all of that, which I'm all for. But I think in the end, it's really not a big deal and pennies compared to focusing on other things that are really going to move the needle in your blogging business. So I wish I would have focused more on just you can have coders come in and optimize certain things for your theme. If for some reason you don't like what, something that's happening, so you don't have to change it all. But literally changing your website is a huge undertaking. It's so many hours of work and so much time that you could have been spending on your blog and your content. So I just highly recommend don't get hung up on those kind of details. As long as it's easy to navigate and you can fairly work within it, I would just stick with it. And until you have the money and the time and your blog's actually making a consistent income, I would not focus on that kind of stuff. Okay, sorry guys, part of my video just got cut off, and so I'm going to give you the next 2 tips. That's why I'm in different clothes and I look different, because it's a totally different day than when I actually recorded it. So number 6 is I wish I would have started, well, I shouldn't say that. I started an email list, but I wish I would have focused on it so much sooner than I did. So I started an email list my 2nd year, but I really didn't focus on it. I didn't really understand the power of an email list. I just thought, okay, I need to have one. That's what everyone's saying. And so I created one, but I didn't really actually optimize it or really create freebies that would incentivize people to give me their email address. And if you're not familiar with why an email list is so important, let me explain. So an email list is really so powerful as a blogger or any sort of entrepreneur that's online, because it's your direct connection with your customer, your consumer, your reader. So for example, if I want someone to know about a sale or a new blog post, I can email them directly, getting to their email inbox versus having to wade through the algorithms of social media. I can post on Instagram, but the likelihood of anyone seeing that is pretty rare these days. And so with an email list, I can directly email them and know that my email is going to get to them most likely, and they're going to see what I'm wanting them to see instead of relying on an algorithm that could be ever changing. So this gives you so much power back to you because you're able to communicate with your reader, share tips, tricks, updates with them, really build that relationship and foster it. I've had people on my email list for 7 years now, and it's really been such a beautiful thing of being able to just nurture that relationship. And in turn, they're my friends. When I post a sale, they buy things because they trust me, and I built that know, like, and trust factor with them through my email list, through emailing them free content every week. And then, whenever I have something I want to tell them about, I'm able to email them and they respond. So an email list is super powerful. I highly recommend focusing on one so much sooner and growing that, because if your email list is larger, you're going to be able to earn more money, because whenever you recommend something, obviously, that you truly like and, you love, people are going to buy it, and in turn, you're going to make money. And so I highly recommend that you foster that email list by, say you have a blog post and you post it, but then you want to add some more to it. You should add a freebie of some kind or an opt-in where you explain or go deeper into that specific topic of your blog post, where people are going to want to know it, right? So for instance, one of my freebies is a Target guide, not a Target gift guide. I don't know why I said that, but it's a Target guide. So basically I have over 100 plus natural and organic items that you can find at Target. I have them listed out in this Target guide. And so people go to my Target post and I list my 10 favorite products from Target that are natural and organic. But if they want to dive deeper and learn all, over 100, they're able to download the free guide and go even deeper. And so then they're going to want to get it. So then they give me their email address in exchange for that Target guide, if that makes sense. So make sure and focus on your email list. Okay, my last tip, number 7, a mistake that I made that I wish I wouldn't have, is listening to everyone. So I basically consumed anyone and everyone that talked to me about online entrepreneurship, blogger, anything from like social media to how to post, anything and everything. And that is where I really feel like I made a mistake, because I was so overwhelmed at times. I was listening to one person about Instagram. I was taking this course on Pinterest. I was trying to get my email list going. Like, there was just so much going on, and I wasn't being very productive because I was listening to too many voices in my head, telling me to do all these things and saying, this is important, no, this is. And so I felt like I had analysis paralysis. Like, I just didn't know what to even focus on because there were so many things eyeing for my attention. So if I could recommend one thing, is to listen to one person, whether that's me or someone else. Just focus in on one person, consume their content, do what they say if they've been successful, of course, and really follow that, because you will be successful then. I find a lot of people will just be, they go here and then they go there, and they're constantly focusing on different things and they don't get any traction. And I think it's because there's too much going on and they're focusing on too many things instead of just really focusing on one thing. I think that way too, if someone tells you focus on your email list, you'll just focus on your email list and you'll get really good at that versus trying to do all the things. So really just find that voice or that person, that mentor that you want to look up to and that you can kind of just, go with and focus on them. I remember, for example, when I first started, this was a long time ago, I was listening to this guy. We had access to his courses through my husband's boss at the time. So we were watching his courses, and he was like a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur, which I'm not saying like you shouldn't learn from someone really successful, but he was like way ahead of me. I hadn't even started I had just started my blog, and while it was motivating, and it was also really out of touch and out of reach for where I was at. I was just trying to figure out my email list, let alone try to run a multi-million-dollar business. So I think you have to really find someone that's just like a few steps ahead of you, so you can really, learn from them and grow from them and help it pertain to you and understand it, versus someone that is so far ahead that might feel overwhelming and almost out of reach and out of touch. So I hope those tips were helpful. I hope you learned something today. Please don't make the same mistakes I did. Learn from me and don't make the same mistakes. And then don't forget to get your free blogging checklist where I list out all the things I do before I hit publish on a blog post and just how to optimize it. It is in the description box. Until next time, have a great day.